Vice President Kamala Harris is doing historically poorly with men. Polls show Harris lagging Trump nationally by up to 16 points with men, and not just the white working class men the Democrats have gotten used to losing. She's also underperforming with black men in a big way. And when it comes to Hispanic men under 45, Trump is leading Harris 55 to 38. Many, including former President Barack Obama, have tried to blame Harris's poor performance with men on misogyny. Here's Obama.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. And I'm speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
The idea that black men owe the Democratic Party their votes or they'll be scapegoated as woman haters is frankly offensive. It's also terrible politically. I don't know about you, but I've never been scolded into changing my mind. But it is also nonsense. The real reason men of all races are so reluctant to back Harris is because her campaign is not for them. It's for women, specifically college-educated women. And this includes the messaging that's ostensibly about or featuring men. Consider a viral video about how real men support Harris. Let's take a look at the ad, which was produced by a group called Creatives for Harris.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
This ad was widely mocked for feeling cringy and fake, and not just because all of these Harris supporters turned out to be professional actors. Though not produced by the campaign, the ad suffered from the same problem the Harris campaign does. Though it depicted men, it was produced for women, for a liberal woman's fantasy of what a man is, or the kind of man you'll find in the Democratic Party, the kind dressed up like a very masculine man, but who has subordinated his political self to women. The folksy portrayal of Tim Walz as Coach Walz does the same thing as the ad about real men. Here's some footage from the weekend.
A few moments ago, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was out pheasant hunting in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, taking part in the 12th annual Governor's Pheasant Hunting Opener. This comes, friends, as we know that they're going to have Walz doing sort of a blitz, reaching out to men, young men, voters they know, 50-50 swing vote. They know they need to get them.
Again, I don't think that this is messaging designed to convince men, but to reassure women. Like so much about the Harris campaign, it's acting, and bad acting at that. Alas, the rifle malfunctioned. Now, to her credit, Harris has really retired Hillary Clinton's endless reminders of her gender in her campaign. Though her surrogates routinely emphasize the historic nature of her candidacy, Harris herself has avoided any special pleading on the grounds of her gender or race. But at the same time, she has been conspicuously quiet when it comes to actual policy plans that would help regular working Americans, men and women. Her only consistent campaign promise has been to protect the right of women to obtain an abortion and reverse what she likes to call the Trump abortion bans. But there is a huge gender gap when it comes to abortion. Gallup found that while most Americans now self-identify as pro-choice, women are 30 points more likely to be pro-choice than pro-life, while men are 5 points more likely to be pro-life. This gap is as much a function of education as it is of gender. There is a strong correlation between having a college degree and believing abortion should be legal under any circumstances. And crucially, Women are 15 points more likely to have a college degree in America than men are, meaning that the class divide is mapping very neatly onto the gender divide. And when it comes to the class divide, the Democrats have chosen a side. For the last 40 years, Democratic economic policy has been nothing short of an upward transfer of wealth from the working class to the college educated, the top 20% who now control over 50% of our country's GDP. It started with President Bill Clinton signing NAFTA into law, sending 5 million good manufacturing jobs overseas. Then President Obama defunded vocational training, eliminating another avenue for working class kids to attain a stable life. To cap it off, President Biden decriminalized illegal border crossing for 3 years, which immediately reversed the wage growth working class Americans had been enjoying since 2019. It turns out liberal women want their men LARPing in camo while voting for the party that shipped their jobs overseas to China. They want their men to be able to fix a car or at least dress like they know how to, while voting for the party that defunded vocational training. They want their men to dress like ranchers, but vote like podcasters. They want men to vote against their own economic interests in support of the future is female culture wars. I'm not saying that real men can't support women or abortion or Kamala Harris. I'm saying that the Harris campaign's failure to appeal to men has exposed an inherent contradiction in the heart of the Democrats' base of college-educated women between what women want and expect from men aesthetically or sexually, namely masculinity, competence, self-reliance, and assertiveness, and what they demand politically, submission. No wonder men are having such a hard time buying in.